I remember something about my mother pretty much every single day. My mother was one of those people who had thousands of recipes and cooked all the time, who volunteered at the library, whether it was reading to little kids at story time or teaching illiterate adults how to read and how to spell. My mother liked to hear stories about people. She always used to ask me questions about my friends. What is this person like? What is that person like? Is this person tall? Does this person get along with their mother? And on and on and on and on until she got their personality. And then when she met them, she would remember certain things that they were all about. My mother was the queen of the little note, the thoughtful note, the thank you note, the birthday card. If you wanted to remember something, you asked my mother. She could tell you stories about relatives that she didn't even have. My mother was also a great grandma. She loved being a grandma. It was her favorite thing. So when I had my kids, I have two girls that are 15 months apart. My mother was in heaven. When I was in the hospital having my daughter Talia, I called my mother to tell her that she was now a new grandma and grandpa was a grandpa, and she kind of rushed me off the phone. We found out a couple of days later that my father told her that under no circumstances was she supposed to talk to me because he was in the hospital having a heart operation the same day that Talia was born. 4 months later, we went to Florida where my parents lived, and I brought Talia, and my mother, she wanted to gaze into her eyes, and she was so excited because Talia actually looked a little like my mother, and people, when they saw little baby Talia, they'd say, "Roz, she looks just like you," and my mother would be ecstatic. Since we lived in California and they lived in Florida, my parents, Grandma and Grandpa, used to go to all these stores and buy clothes and gifts for Talia and her sister Libby. And they used to go all over town and find little bathing suits and cute little shorts and socks, hats, and everything you could possibly imagine, and send us these big, huge packages in the mail. And then every year we would go to Florida for a month in the summer and spend it with my parents. And my mother, during the course of the year, would have gone to all lengths to find activities for my kids. Whether it was going to see the turtles hatch at midnight in a park, whether it was going to the ocean to see some kind of dolphin show, to restaurants. My mother had a collection of children's menus because she wanted my kids to be happy. Anything you can imagine, my mother did it. In 2009, my mother passed away, and it was really hard for me and for my kids. And for my father. She had a rare form of leukemia. We were all very sad for a long time. In fact, one day we were at the pool and my little daughter Libby saw this shining star in the sky, and she said, "I think Grandma's here with us." My father is still very sad. We're all sad, but he's especially still sad. Every time we have a special occasion, I always make one of my mother's recipes, whether anybody realizes it or not, I do. So Roz is always with us.